In this video, you're gonna see how to go from sheet of plywood to the flower-shaped podium stage. I'm gonna show you how to start with measurements, how to come up with the shape, how to cut it out, what nails and things to use, how to attach it all together, what supplies to use, and also my mistakes. I always work with large sheets of plywood, and to cut it I use insulation foam. I got it from Home Depot. It doesn't seem like, but it used to be 2 inches thick, which protects my floor or table if I cut it on the table, and everything else. In general, it's really easy and comfortable to work on, especially with the big sheets of plywood. I start with a standard size of plywood. It's a 4x8. I measured half and I will cut it in half using my circular saw. I use Makita, and if you wonder what kind of attachments is right there, Makita is battery powered and attachment is just a dust collection, and that's how I keep my shop free of dust. So the podium will be flower shaped and it's gonna be 4 feet diameter. And if you're not from US and you're using metrical system, I highly suggest you to download, at least I'm using it, Convert Plus app, which gonna help you to convert any size, mass, or anything else from feet to meters and from inches to centimeters. So right here I have 4x4 piece of plywood, and on the other side you see another 4x4. So one's gonna be top and the other one is gonna be bottom. I'm just measuring the board to find the middle, so it's gonna be 2 feet from one side, 2 feet from the other side. This is the middle, and then I got measured another parts to make it look like a pie or a pizza, cut it in 8 slices. So I measured the same length from the middle to have my circles up to the corner for the petals of the flower-shaped podium. If you wonder what it used for, I'm building a decorative stuff for events, for parties, for photo session backgrounds or video setups, all kind of backdrops, all kind of shapes like boxes, podiums, backdrops, windows, anything. So right here, this is ready. I have 8 petals, all the same size, and all together it's going to be 4 feet wide, 4 feet in diameter, which is 48 inches. And I'm using my jigsaw with the scroll blade to do those all curvy cuts. It's a really nice jigsaw, but it doesn't matter which one you have. I used for a while, I forgot the brand, Ryobi or something, like the rigid, I believe, the cheapest jigsaw you can find at the store, and it worked just fine. The reason I changed it is because the other one was corded. This one is cordless and it's battery powered. Okay, the flower shape is done, and that's the first one, and you don't need to cut the second one to match it. So what I do to have the second one, the bottom part, exactly the same shape, or the top one, doesn't matter, exactly the same shape, I put my other 4x4 piece of board that I just cut it on top of that. I secure it with my clamps, and I'll just gonna use my palm router, or also it's called compact router, with a flash trim bit to just go around the flower and to have exactly the same second shape, so I don't have to use my jigsaw again, because there could be mistakes, you know, you working with your hand and could be a millimeter one side or millimeter the other side, and it's just not gonna be nice. So right now I have 2 exactly the same pieces of the flower shape. And if you wonder about any tools I'm using, go ahead and check out the description under my video. I have listed every single tool, every single bit, and everything I use in this video. You can find everything. And right now I'm cutting pieces of wood to connect the top part and the bottom part of the podium. It's supposed to be really strong so people can stand on it, and that's what I'm doing right now. And this bigger part is going to be in the middle. I'm gonna make some handles to make sure you can easily carry it around. And if you cannot imagine what kind of event this thing could be used for, just Google event backdrops or party backdrops, and you most definitely gonna see something like that in Google Images. plywood I'm working with, it's a ½ inch or 12 millimeters thick. So the top part and the bottom part, that's gonna give you 1 inch, and those separators gonna give you another 6 inches. So altogether it's gonna be 7 inches. And right now I'm just gonna cut out a circle to reduce the weight of the podium and for stability as well. I'm using my router with standard spiral bit and a circle cutting jig from Jasper. Also, you can find it in my description. I have linked everything. And you see the piece of foam on the bottom. Just a few days ago I just bought myself another one because this one was just falling apart. I had it for maybe 4 years or something. I did thousands and thousands of cuts on it, and this one piece of foam survived a long time. So it's really useful and durable thing to have around your shop to cut these big pieces of plywood or just big pieces of wood in general. So right here, this is going to be the bottom part, and I will start attaching those separating things or support blocks that go in between, and I will use my brad nailer with brad nails, which are 1 1/4 inches long or 32 millimeters. You don't need to use really any screws. It's gonna hold just fine because it's so many of them, you know, and all together it's gonna give it a strength needed to keep it all together. Everything is on glue, and I know glue doesn't really hold butts, but it's kind of a habit to use glue in everything, and I tend to overbuild things, make them a little bit stronger than they need to be. And right here, see this bigger piece that I cut it before. I cut out handles so people can easily take it around when they setting up the backdrop for the event. And brad nailer I'm using, it's from DeWalt, cordless, and this is really good thing to work around because you don't have to use any hose with it or air compressors. But sometimes it just gets in the way because of the size. You can see how huge it is. So sometimes I use my other brad nailer that is used with air compressor. It's a lot smaller, a lot more easy to work with. And right now I'm gonna attach the top part of the flower podium, and you see all of those things gonna keep it together and will give it a strength needed to withstand, to hold a person standing on top, or if people gonna put some things on top, it's gonna hold anything. It's gonna be really strong. And again, I'm using my brad nailer with same brad nails around. To not guess where to put brad nails in the middle, I just mark the beginning of that long piece of board and the end. Use my ruler and a pencil so I know exactly where to put my brad nails to secure it in place. Okay, this part is done. See how I'm holding it? Those handles really useful. I didn't do those curve cuts by myself. I found a supplier who sells this kind of wood, and I cut it to size needed for my flower-shaped podium. And like I said, podium is 7-inch tall, and these pieces I cut them to 7.5 inches. So I have this a little bit extra to work with if it goes too high or too low, and then I'm just gonna use a router with flash trim bit to cut it out. And for my second build, I probably wouldn't suggest and wouldn't use this same material with curve cuts. It's MDF, it's not plywood, and it was really tricky to work with, and I feel like it's gonna hold, everything's gonna be fine. It just, for me to work with, it was really hard. It bends really well, but it was hard to attach it to the stage, and since it's MDF, it's very fragile. As you saw in the beginning, I bended one a little bit too hard and it broke in half. After this, I found another supplier who sells bendable plywood, but super thin. It's like 4 millimeters thin, which would be perfect for this job. And next time you're not gonna see me using this curve cut MDF. I'm gonna use super thin plywood. And I put it on glue, and I used brad nails, which were 3/4 inches thick or 19 millimeters. And I used Titebond 3 at the beginning, but then I realized the dry time of Titebond is a little bit longer than I needed, so later on I switched to another glue which was a lot faster to bond those pieces together, and it was a little bit easier to work with, and I had to put a lot of bread nails to make it hold together. But like I said, next time I'm just gonna use plywood. I'm not gonna play with MDF. I never liked working with MDF anyway, so good that I had this learning moment. So don't use MDF, use plywood. And right here I just did a wrong angle for my camera, and you don't really see what I'm doing, but I'm just using my compact router or palm router with the flash trim bit to trim all of that excess wood that I told you. It's a little bit thicker than the thickness of the flower podium, and that's it. This is ready podium, and it's really strong, turned out very beautiful. You can stand on it, you can jump, it's gonna hold easily anybody, even few people. And it's ready, but I just decided to give it a little bit to touch up some spots because of those curves, you know, you could see like little holes on the top of the flower podium, so I decided to use some wood filler just to fill up those imperfections and make it perfect. Alright, so this is all for today, and I thank you for watching my video. And if you like this kind of stuff, or you trying to build something like that, or you in event planning business and you wanna make your own backdrops, I highly encourage you to subscribe to my channel, give it a like, give me a comment, tell me what you think, and I appreciate you watching this video. Thank you so much. Bye.